Kumentuntum Preko.
Hello, good evening. This is Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Okanse. Coming up tonight, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagwin, raises procedural concerns over the human rights, that is, Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, also known as Anti-LGBTQ Plus Bill, casting fresh doubt on its path to presidential action. The President, John Mahama, has been speaking about it as well in London. Stay with us. Also, Ghana's High Commission in South Africa temporarily suspends registration for evacuation to Ghana. We have details emerging on the decision and more. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, rising fuel prices are mounting pressure on transport operators, fueling concerns over the matter of the possible fare increases, but that has been disputed as of now. What exactly will the coming days look like? Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. We will definitely give you some more details on this. Well, so we have this and more, including key highlights from the ongoing Ghana-UK Investment Summit in London. Christian Yale is a man there for us. And then also there's some news coming through from the Ghana Immigration Service. Some persons, women have been, or ladies, and in fact children have been rounded up somewhere in the Ashanti region, Asenkregwa specifically. What exactly were they in there to do? Stay with us. We'll tell you. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagwin says he was surprised at the speed by which the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was passed by Parliament. He has, as a result, summoned the two leaders of the House to explain matters to him, insisting such a critical bill must be passed by consensus.
And in fact, when it was passed on Friday, it was even a surprise to me, because I knew that they were going to start the consideration of the bill. And that was the instructions I left before I went to attend to other activities. It was Friday, and members wanted to go home early to their constituencies, the one we're going to see today. And so I knew they wouldn't have completed it. But all of a sudden, I read about this passage. I reacted, and later I saw on TV all the things that happened.
President John Mahama has stated that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill passed by Parliament is not yet ready for presidential assent, noting that the process still has some way to go. Speaking at Chatham House in London on Monday, he explained that concerns have been raised regarding the bill's passage.
The president has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent, and so once the president gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the president is advised to assent. The president has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State.
The minority caucus in Parliament has accused the government and the ruling National Democratic Congress of weakening the human sexual rights and family value bills through extensive amendments before its passage by Parliament last Friday. The Member of Parliament for Asin South, Reverend John Intimfojo, was addressing a media briefing.
Promotion of and advocacy for activities prohibited under this Act. This is the main thrust of the object of the bill. This is what we don't have in any part of our existing laws for which this bill came about. Clause 2 says that nobody should promote any such things. Don't do things that will entice, advocate for, and make it entice and incentivize, advertise, campaign for it. Don't do it. But they say that no, insert this immunity. This is an immunity clause. You are lifting them above the law and saying that if you are within these categories, you can do anything that promotes LGBT, that advocates for LGBT, supports and sponsors LGBT, enables LGBT, and just by virtue that you fall within these categories, as for you, you are above the law, you should be exempted.
Minister for Foreign Affairs says that all is set for the second batch of Ghanaian evacuees to leave South Africa once a landing permit is granted by the South African authorities for the aircrafts to land. According to Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the numbers have risen to almost 900 Ghanaians seeking to flee the unsafe streets of South Africa.
We now are exceeding 900, but thanks to the compassionate leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he has said that all Ghanaians in harm's way, in distress, who are being harassed, being dehumanized, we should not leave anyone behind. So I can assure you that all is set for the next batch to arrive. We're just waiting for the South African authorities to finalize our request for the flight permits so that our chartered jets can move in.
60-year-old man Eric Mante, who injured his son after tying and dragging him behind a quad bike at North Legon, has been granted bail by the Adenta Circuit Court. This was after he pleaded not guilty to charges leveled against him by police. Earlier, the MP for Medina, Dr. Francis Xavier Sosu, maintained that the accused's failure to apologize for his actions would warrant a full trial.
We are not taking it lightly because many have said that maybe perhaps because he's a person with physical challenge, it means that we just have to let him go, but it can't work that way. If you are physically challenged and you decide to be wicked and be criminal, the law will deal with you. And so I am hopeful that he would just plead guilty simpliciter so that we probably appeal to the court for a non-custodial sentence or something, given his condition. However, if he chooses not to do that, then we will push fully for the full sentence that he deserves.
Well, this morning is on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. Also on 3 News on YouTube. As always, it's brought to you by Sasso. It's a spray and coil, tum tum precom. Coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, the Ghana Immigration Service, and this is information we're just getting. It came through not too long ago. The Ghana Immigration Service has rescued some 122 trafficking victims and returned 105 safely to their homes. That's information that we're getting right now from the Ghana Immigration Service, and we're going to show you videos of these persons, 122 of them, That's what we're talking about right now. And this is information we got through from the Ghana Immigration Service. And this is it. The Ghana Immigration Service, just about an hour ago, gave us this information saying 105 trafficking victims have been safely returned to their home countries after an intelligence-led operation uncovered a suspected human trafficking network in Asenkrigwa. Asenkrigwa is in the Ashanti region. A statement issued by the Ghana Immigration Service give details of this particular information as we have it. And we got through earlier today. This is about an hour ago that this information came from the Ghana Immigration Service. And this is it. And these videos that they made available to us is what you're seeing on the screen right now. And based on the details as we have it from the statement from the Ghana Immigration Service, they say the raid, that is the 112 individuals suspected of being trafficked into Ghana, this raid carried out on May 20, 2026 by the Asenkrigwa Sector Command under the Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, ACI Kwabena Ejay, targeted premises believed to be hosting persons engaged in commercial sex activities in the area. That's what you see on the screen there. Also, and that's with the Ghana Immigration Service, they say that initial screening revealed the group comprised 110 Nigerians, 1 Beninois, also 1 Cameroonian, all females, aged between 12 and 38. They were later transferred to a hiding area by these persons who brought them in. Also, we're going to put the visuals of these ladies on the screen right now from the Ghana Immigration Service. And subsequent investigations by the Anti-Human Smuggling and Trafficking in Persons, that's unit of the service, identified 7 suspects and confirmed 105 victims. The National Operations Department of the service, working closely with the relevant embassies and Cameroonian community representatives in Ghana, facilitated the safe return of the victims to their home countries. The 7 suspects remain under investigation and could face prosecution if found culpable. So there are 7 people who have been arrested by the Ghana Immigration Service for their involvement in the trafficking of these persons. So initial screening revealed the group comprised 110 Nigerians, 1 Cameroonian, and 1 Beninois, all female, aged between 12 and 38. That's the information that we have. And they are currently in the holding center in the Greater Accra region for further processing. The Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Basintale Amadou, urged foreign nationals to comply with immigration and criminal laws. He reaffirmed the service commitment to collaborating with other security agencies to combat human trafficking, migrant smuggling, and related transnational crimes, while protecting vulnerable population from exploitation. So this is from the Head of Public Affairs Department of the Ghana Immigration Service, DSI Barbara Sam. That's if we got this information just about an hour ago. So we'll keep an eye on this one, and we'll keep giving you some more details here on Ghana Tonight. And it came through from the Ghana Immigration Service. Now, let's go straight up to, coming up next, go straight to the matters of anti-LGBTQ plus, this bill that was passed by Parliament on Friday. Well, there's a latest to it, and this is a developing story of the last 5 hours. Could procedural hurdles derail the controversial anti-LGBTQ plus bill? That's the question we're asking this evening. The Speaker's latest concerns are raising fresh questions, and that's actually complemented by the President. The President, John Dramani Mahama's statement during an interview earlier today as well. But let's start off from what the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Sumana Kinfo-Gbagben, said, that he was surprised at the speed by which the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was passed by Parliament on Friday. He has, as a result, summoned the two leaders, that's a majority and a minority in Parliament, to explain the matters to him, insisting such a critical bill must be passed by consensus. And that consensus clearly, from what we saw on Friday preceding the passing, was not reached. And this is the Speaker earlier today. Take a look.
You know the copious instruments and laws on human rights. All over. You have to go through all, from the UN Charter to the African People's Rights and what, all. You have to go through all. Then we have also our development partners who have a lot of contribution to make. We had the United Nations coming in with proposals on the moon and everything. We as Ghanaians also have to dig deeper into our cultures, our customs, our values before we came out with what was passed on Friday. And in fact, when it was passed on Friday, it was even a surprise to me. Because I knew that they were going to start the consideration of the bill. And that was the instructions I left before I went to attend to other activities. It was Friday, and members wanted to go home early to their constituencies, the one we're going to see today. And so I knew they wouldn't have completed. But all of a sudden, I read about this passage. I reacted, and later I saw on TV all the things that happened. And so this evening, I've asked the leaders to meet me in my office. So they will be here for us to go through it. This is such a critical bill that we believe there must be consensus. But it's not about passing bill. It's about implementing it and making sure that it benefits the people.
Well, so that's the Speaker of Parliament there. He didn't preside over the business of the House on Friday. His deputy, the first Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, did preside over the business of the House. But he raises questions about surprise and the lack of consensus, and the fact that this is not about just passing the bill, it's about the implementation of it. What is the Speaker seeing that probably may have lost out on the members of Parliament who were in Parliament, who went through this process, and the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament as well on Friday? Well, the President, John Mahama, also has stated that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill passed by Parliament is not yet ready for presidential action, noting that the process still has some way to go. I was speaking at Chatham House in London earlier today, explaining that concerns have been raised regarding the bill's passage, particularly issues related to quorum and procedural compliance during parliamentary proceedings. So it just flows through from what the Speaker of Parliament was saying. And now you understand the context of the President's statement, having listened to what the Speaker said. But we're going to play the President's that part of that interview for you to understand why he made that comment, taking into consideration what the Speaker has said and what happened on Friday. Take a look.
Parliament has been considering it, and it was supposed to have been passed last week. There have been a few issues raised. One, that there wasn't quorum when it was passed. That's an issue that has come up. And then two, there were some procedural lapses in terms of its passage. I just got some communication that the Speaker was reading a statement to address the issue of the lapses in the passage of the bill. And so, like I said, when I was the opposition leader, the President has a number of options in this matter. It must come for assent. And so once the President gets it, you go through it because you are not part of the discussion in Parliament. And so the legal representative, the legal counsel in the Presidency and the Attorney General would sit on it because it was a private member's motion. Right. This was not a government bill. And so we'll look at it and make sure that everything is in order before the President is advised to assent. The President has another option if there are some things that he thinks are a problem. He can refer to the Council of State for advice. The Council of State is an advisory body to the President, and so they will take a look at it, and then they will advise the President. And if there are issues, substantial issues that are raised, the President would return the bill to Parliament, indicating exactly what the issues are. And so there's still quite a while to go before that bill becomes law.
Well, so that's the President there. He outlines further a number of things that could happen, even if the bill is transmitted to him. Remember, in the first instance, the bill could not even be transmitted to the presidency because of the position that the former President Abraham Akufo-Addo took through that letter from the Executive Secretary to the President, Nana Asante Bediatu, to Parliament, the 8th Parliament at the time. Well, now President Mahama is giving options of what could possibly happen in the coming days. Even if this bill makes its way to Parliament, he has a legal team who have to look at it. And then the second leg of having the Council of State look at it if there are still concerns. But even before all of this, the President said earlier, the Minority Caucus in Parliament also accused government and the NDC of weakening the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill through the extensive amendments before its passage last Friday. That's the Asin South Member of Parliament, who was also a sponsor of this bill, Reverend John Tim Fojo, addressing the press earlier today. Take a look.
Promotion of and advocacy for activities prohibited under this act. This is the main thrust of the object of the bill. This is what we don't have in any part of our existing laws for which this bill came about. Clause 2 says that nobody should promote any such things. Don't do things that will entice, advocate for, and make it enticing, incentivize, advertise, campaign for it. Don't do it. But they say that no, insert this immunity. This is an immunity clause. You are lifting them above the law and saying that if you are within these categories, you can do anything that promotes LGBT, that advocates for LGBT, supports and sponsors LGBT, enables LGBT, and just by virtue that you fall within these categories, as for you, you are above the law, you should be exempted.
Oh, that's Reverend John Tim Fojo there, and a number of reactions, in fact, a flood of opinions have been flowing through since these three incidents happened today. The minorities press conference, the speaker's statement on what happened on Friday, and also the president's interview. Here's where I bring in one of the supporters of this particular bill in terms of the CSOs that supported this anti-LGBTQ+ bill and are still supporting it. Adam Senano is the president of the Advocates for Christ. That's another hat that he wears. Senano, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, from the legal perspective, because the president raises another angle of the legal implications or ramifications or the options that he has if this bill eventually even makes its way to the presidency from Parliament. Martin Pebble is private legal practitioner, joining us on Zoom as well. Gentlemen, good evening. Martin Pebble, can you hear us?
Good evening, Mr. Okansi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Senano, good evening. Thank you for joining us as well. I'll start off with you, Mr. Adam Senano. Hearing the president talk about procedural lapses and then the lack of quorum and other matters that he raises being the reasons why he is of the view that this bill in itself being passed by a parliament is not the end of the road yet. That even if it comes to the presidency, there are other options that he can take if there are still issues with this particular bill that has been passed by Parliament. I want to find out your thoughts about hearing what the president said and what the Speaker of Parliament said as well today.
Well, it's a bit surprising. I mean, Parliament is a space of records, and typically, they pay attention to the details. So it's a bit surprising to hear that there appears to have been some gaps. However, I am delighted to note that they are making efforts to pay attention to the detail so that there are no procedural lapses that eventually crop up, and therefore you then raise more reasons why people want to push against it or go to court, etc. I think that there's no need to rush. So much time and effort has already gone into this that if there are a number of things, and when I looked at it, I have some questions on one or two of the exemptions on the clause 9 part of it. So I think it's a good thing that they are taking a second look at it. Otherwise, I would have expected that the president under Article 106 would identify some of these weaknesses and send it back to Parliament.
Right, and Martin Kpebu, your thoughts as well on this latest development regarding what the president has said, which you have heard, and then also what the speaker has said about his surprise of learning that this bill was passed by Parliament. Adam Senano raises the matter of the scrutiny and attention to detail that Parliament is expected to or has been practicing over time, and so something like this and the speaker's surprise is one that also surprises him. I want to find out your thoughts on this one as well.
Okay, so let's separate the issues. When it comes to quorum is not one of the issues that would go very far, okay, speaking candidly, because, on the matter of quorum, as part of the rules in Parliament, okay? As part of the rules, what they will tell you is that you raise quorum before the vote. So if at the time that the bill is being considered, nobody raises a matter of quorum, it is presumed that Parliament had a requisite quorum to go on. So perhaps a stronger argument will be the actual provisions. You say, because basically, as I've said, this matter of quorum has come up time without number. But quorum is usually a big issue if you raise it at the time of before the vote is taken. So that's how come you hear there is division, etc. Then they will bring in the marshals, then they will say, okay, division. So those who are in favor, then those who are against, then they will do a proper vote, etc. But once that's not been done, I fail to see what quorum will be doing at this stage. Of course, but there's also, yes, so that's a real challenge. So perhaps a stronger argument would be, okay, but, well, we know Parliament is master of its own procedures, but if perhaps for the first time they themselves want to accept that they weren't properly quorate, and so they want to throw.
In fact, I've also been listening to the Majority Chief Whip, Nelson Ross Davenport, who says they actually had quorum and that the votes and proceedings were corrected today to reflect the fact that they had quorum. So, yeah.
That is it. That's it. You see, I said it. The Rules of Parliament, that book, I want to remember the name of the book. You see that rules, when you read through, and this is not the first time quorum is being raised, and they'll always tell you that it's before the vote is taken. So it's like how we say usually before a couple marry, though it doesn't apply all the time, but they'll say, hey, if anybody has anything against this marriage, the person should say so now, or forever hold your peace, or forever hold your peace. Of course, when you come into law, you know that it's not forever hold your peace. If later you find grounds that the marriage is not well, that's what you call celebrated, it can be annulled. But I'm just showing that common example. So quorum, I'm happy that Femopois mentioned it. That doesn't go far. But the president has grounds to look at the actual provisions, and under Article 106, this refer to the Council of State, like you said, or he himself will show why he would not assent to it. That's within 7 days after he has received it. Article 106 says that within 7 days after he has received it, he will send a message to Parliament, the Speaker, to show whether he will sign or he would not, or whether he would send it to the Council of State. So perhaps if he wants more time to look at it, it's refreshing to hear that even Adam Saranu, who have baying for the blood of Parliament, that it should be passed, now say that the president should take his time. Yeah, so and let's not forget the way we've been doing it. When you read the bill, okay, the memorandum to the bill, you see that, look, even the National House of Chiefs said that, look, our society abhors gay, LGBTQ, etc., but they are calling on citizens to desist from harassing these people. The National House of Chiefs says they are calling on citizens to desist from intimidating gays. The National House of Chiefs says they are calling on citizens to desist from lynching them, etc. You name them. So if we've come this far, why not? If we have to wait for the president to scrutinize it further, sure. I mean, it's all within law. But the good thing we should do is that I think every Ghanaian should take time to read the bill, the memorandum especially. You see that, yes, even the persons who were painted as the ones just asking for the law anyhow, it's actually not the case. The National House of Chiefs says, don't harass these people, don't lynch them, don't intimidate them, don't ridicule them, don't discriminate against them. Yes, because that's what a civilized society does. We have to carry them along in the manner that we're also saying their activities should not become the norm. The main thing is that we don't want them flaunting it on radio, TV, etc., in order to lure our young ones. I think that's the main purpose of the bill. You don't want an exponential growth in LGBTQ activities so that people who are not even naturally inclined to be LGBTQ would then copy such lifestyles. I think that's what the National House of Chiefs is trying to stop, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, etc. But these powerful bodies, these gatekeepers, these leaders in our culture, etc., have not said they want LGBTQ people to be lynched, to be harassed, to be ridiculed, etc. And I think that's a message we should carry across.
I see, and Ms. Adam Serrano, so that much Bible references the point that you make, that to the extent that this bill, in terms of its deliberations, has come so far, maybe this development is viewed in some sort of a good development of a sort to ensure that the right things are done so that when the bill is eventually assented to, it will not be subject to litigation in itself.
Absolutely. I commend Parliament for, taking this up, being able to process it, probably in a certain sense, even faster than I thought they would do at this stage. And perhaps it's because they have dealt with it in the past, because usually consideration is not just, it's not that quick. But having looked at what has gone into the changes, the exemptions in particular, I think that one or two of them need tightening. Otherwise, it provides a lacuna that will be exploited by certain persons, and what we want to achieve would be, undermined. And to that extent, therefore, already it was going to be one of the things in my mind. If the president is going to have to deal with it, my position was going to be, Mr. President, you've got to look at those exemptions, send it back, put a memo on it, and especially the one that has to do with public sector and NGOs having the right to just give information. I thought that didn't have a constructive purpose. It was likely to just undermine why we set out to do this law in the first place.
I see, but Lawyer Matikbebo, if we have to, satisfy all the concerns and, ensure extensive consensus, then some say this bill may never be passed because the nature of this bill in itself evokes some controversy, okay? And there will definitely be some divergent views, no matter how much you seek consensus. So at some point, you would have to go beyond achieving consensus to get this bill passed, if there's commitment, is it not?
Absolutely right. Yes, you're absolutely right that considering the interest it has generated and will continue to generate, yeah, you will never finish iterating it. You will never finish amending it. Yeah, but I mean, the president, by the Constitution, the same Article 106, it says that for the thing to become law, it is by Parliament and the president. So if the president has challenges, then let's give him room. At least so far, the majority has surprised us as a nation. You know, there was this suspicion that they were just stonewalling to buy time. But it's proven that no, they were actually ready to pass it. So once it's been passed, it has moved the conversation forward. And also it's giving LGBTQ people some fresh air of freedom. Don't worry too much about the proscribing gay activities carrying 3-year sentence. No, but if you look at the exceptions in the clause, let's still call it clause 9, since the president has not yet passed it, or section 9. Actually, you can call it section 9, except that it won't become effective. And 10, you see that the exceptions for researchers, for lawyers, medical practitioners, etc., to provide services and all that, it gives them some protection. And the fact that a doctor cannot report these persons, so it's some protection. So it's moved the conversation forward. So for me, like I've said, let due process be done. If that is what is required.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Council, stay with me. I'll seek your final thoughts in a minute. But Mr. Demsena, I mean, there are those who have expressed surprise at the Speaker's surprise because, I mean, even though he wasn't present in person to superintend over the business of the House on Friday, his deputy was there. Bernard Ahiafo presided over the business of the House on Friday. And then the fierce debate that preceded this entire exercise. I mean, does this also find some consideration in your own observation?
Well, yes, that's why I'm saying I'm also surprised that there appear to have been some lapses. I'm not sure what exactly they are talking about. But looking at the bill, if the version I have and the exemptions are right, I do also have concerns because I'm thinking this should have been looked at a little more critically. So whichever way, Parliament would have to look at the process. If there's a good reason why they should rethink it. Let me give you an example. When the Speaker kept insisting that we needed to start the entire process again, I was originally of the view that this thing had been passed by Parliament. The President refused to receive it. So if you have a new president, he should just be able to receive it and proceed. But it seemed to me that the Speaker was trying to err on the side of caution, which makes sense. It is better you go the more thorough and long route so that you avoid subsequent hiccups. And I think that's a similar thing maybe he's doing at this point, saying if there are 1 or 2 issues that came up, let's comprehensively deal with them, so that it does not become, it doesn't mar the whole intent of this exercise. So let's see what Parliament will say about its own process. But I agree with you that given the footage that we all saw, it looked like they had a thorough discussion, even though there seemed to just be a blame game that was going on at the time. But the substance of it is, have they used the right process? Is the content the kind that is going to produce the results that we expected when we set out on this journey some 3-4 years ago?
Right. Truly appreciate your time. Adam Saranos, co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, and also for this conversation, president of the Advocates for Christ, one of the CSOs that supported this bill. And Lawyer Martin Kpebu, I thank you as well. The president references the option that he has to take, for instance, if it is transmitted to him, to consult the Council of State. So we're not seeing the end of this whole process anytime soon, is it not? Maybe quickly.
Absolutely. So if the president is already telling you even though he has not yet received it, I mean, like physically, it doesn't appear he has received it, and he's telling that he has an option to refer it to the Council of State, then the next thing we should note is that under that same Article 106, Clause 8 there, but it says that when it goes to the Council of State, then they shall have at least, 90 days. Yeah. No, okay. Generally, if you look at the things that's Article 90, sorry, that's different from the 90 days. So by looking at the duration that it can take in the Council of State, right? So a few months more. And then you're looking at it, perhaps one or two things will change. So when it comes back, so you see that the president can deliberately send it to the Council of State, then it comes back, then it goes back to Parliament for them to reconsider. And when they reconsider, even if they pass it, he's not bound to sign unless they can gather two-thirds majority. So that's the danger, yes. So once it goes to the Council of State and comes back, there is the option that if they want it to pass willy-nilly, then on that occasion, there must be at least two-thirds majority. Otherwise, when it goes to the president, he's not bound to listen. He can still give reasons and not sign, because the 106 Clause 9 says that when it goes, the second reconsideration, let's read it a little bit here. It says, where a bill reconsidered under Clause 9 of this article is passed by Parliament by a resolution supported by the votes of not less than two-thirds of all members of Parliament, the President shall assent to it within 30 days after the passing of the resolution. So the point I'm making is that when it goes to Parliament, the Council of State and comes back, the only way they can force the hand of the president to sign is if they have two-thirds majority. If they don't have two-thirds majority, then there's no compulsion, and so it could be another cycle of go again, come again, go again, come again.
And also take into consideration Parliament's own calendar, right? Because they'll go on recess in between, and that also fits into the time. I appreciate you, Counsel, for this. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Martin Pebble is private legal practitioner. He gives us a pointer as to how the coming days will look like. Clear detail there. But coming up next on Ghana Tonight, why has Ghana's High Commission in South Africa halted the evacuation registration for Ghanaians willing to leave that country as a result of the xenophobic attacks? We're going to get some details from a statement that has just come through right now from the Ghana High Commission in South Africa. They're giving details of the temporary suspension of the registration for evacuation to Ghana with effect from tomorrow, June 2. We have a statement to that effect. We're going to put it on the screen. But this is it. The High Commissioner of the Republic of Ghana to South Africa wishes to inform all Ghanaians residing in South Africa that registration for the ongoing voluntary repatriation exercise will be temporarily suspended with effect from 2nd June. That's tomorrow, 2026. It continues. The temporary suspension is to enable the High Commission and the Home Affairs process and screen the large number of applications already received. And this is the number you need to take note of. To date, over 1,500 Ghanaians have registered, and the verification and processing of these applications is currently underway. The date of the next phase for the new registration will be communicated in due course. The High Commission further wishes to assure all interested Ghanaians who have not yet registered that the repatriation exercise has not yet ended. The High Commission appreciates the cooperation, patience, and understanding of the Ghanaian community in ensuring a well-coordinated exercise. So this is the information we got from the High Commission in South Africa. So that's the reason why they have temporarily suspended the registration for the repatriation. 1,500 Ghanaians so far. As of Saturday, when I spoke to Excellency Benjamin Kwashi, Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, on Cape Point, he had indicated that there are 610 Ghanaians who are expected to come through in the coming days on a chartered flight, 2 chartered flights from South Africa. making the number almost 1,000 added to the 300 that came through, the 297 that came through a few days back. So now we're talking about 1,500 people, Ghanaians, who have registered to come home. And also the information that we have about almost 15,000 Ghanaians in across South Africa. So that gives you an idea of what they're having to deal with if this matter is not dealt with, or that's the xenophobic issues are not dealt with as soon as possible. But the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, says all is set for this second batch of Ghanaian evacuees to leave South Africa, the 610 that I talked about on the 2 chartered flights. Take a look.
The final batch of Ghanaians in South Africa have all now registered. We have a little above 600. Earlier, those who wrote their names was in the region of 800, but it's clear that we'll have to go beyond that. We now are exceeding 900, but thanks to the compassionate leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he has said that all Ghanaians in harm's way, in distress, who are being harassed, being dehumanized, we should not leave anyone behind. So I can assure you that all is set for the next batch to arrive. We're just waiting for the South African authorities to finalize our request for the flight permits so that our chartered jets can move in. What is beautiful about the registration we are doing is that we do it in collaboration with the Department of Home Affairs, the South African authorities, who are there at our High Commission to check for people who they are looking for in their database, people who are wanted, suspected criminals. And so far, not a single Ghanaian is of interest to the South African authorities. So again, this claim by some propagandists, those who seek to tarnish the image of Ghana, that our citizens were lawbreakers, the evidence does not support it. So clearly Ghana is not responsible for any high crime rates or any,
Well, President Mahama has also been speaking about this. He's criticized South Africa's response to recent xenophobic attacks. According to the president, the country's authorities appear to do little to protect displaced foreigners. He also speaking at Chatham House in London. President detailed how Ghana was forced to intervene after its citizens came under attack. Take a look.
We have led Africa in the liberation struggle, and under our first president, we pushed for African continental unity, and Ghana has been at the forefront of Pan-Africanism. And I must say that we have achieved our pride of place again at the forefront of Pan-Africanism. Recently, we went to the United Nations. The African diaspora and indeed Africans on the continent have been struggling over the issue of reparations for so many years. We became the champion of reparations and restitutive justice.
This is Ghana Tonight. We're back after this quick break. We'll tell you about the fuel prices at the pumps and then also what the coming window, that's the second pricing window in the month of June, will look like. The President and Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori, is going to be joining us after this quick break. Stay with us.
In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmeni, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Ghana's Most Beautiful is 20 years, and to kickstart the special anniversary season, you are warmly invited to an exclusive royal ball and fundraiser for a legacy project. An evening shared with our cherished partners, distinguished past queens, and the remarkable individuals who have shaped this journey over the years. Join us at 8 p.m. sharp on the 6th of June at the Adisa Pavilion within the prestigious Labadi Beach Hotel. Red carpet is live at 6 p.m. Come for the elegance, stay for the purpose, be part of the legacy. Ghana's most beautiful 20 years of culture, grace and legacy. This event is strictly by invitation.
In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abinanya Kwasmeni, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Ghana's most beautiful is 20 years, and to kickstart the special anniversary season, you are warmly invited to an exclusive royal ball and fundraiser for a legacy project. An evening shared with our cherished partners, distinguished past queens, and the remarkable individuals who have shaped this journey over the years. Join us at 8 p.m. sharp on the 6th of June at the Adisa Pavilion within the prestigious Labadi Beach Hotel. Red carpet is live at 6 p.m. Come for the elegance, stay for the purpose, be part of the legacy. Ghana's most beautiful 20 years of culture, grace and legacy. This event is strictly by invitation.
This is Ghana Tonight. Now, there's been some reactions to the increase in the price of petroleum products at the pumps. Now, largely, we've seen some maintenance of the prices of diesel, but for petrol, we've seen an increase consistently over time. Some fuel stations, that's the oil marketing companies, have maintained the price of diesel. I'm going to go through in a bit. For instance, for Star Oil, from the 2nd of May, they were tracking it from the first pricing window in the month of May. Petrol was selling at 13 cedis 25 pesos. There was no change as compared to the last pricing window in the month of April. But then we saw a reduction in the price of diesel to 15 cedis 47 pesos. Then fast forward to the second pricing window in the month of May, we saw an increase in the price of petrol from 13 cedis 25 pesos to 14 cedis 60 pesos. Diesel also increased from 15 cedis 49 to 15 cedis 81 pesos. Then fast forward to this today, which is the beginning of the first pricing window in the month of June. We've seen it, petrol increase from 14 cedis 60 pesos to 15 cedis 20 pesos. And then guess what? That's about 60 pesos increase per liter. You multiply it by 4.5, you get an impact on a gallon. Diesel as well, there's been no change. This is for Star Oil, but then when you look at Goil as well, it's almost the same. You see it playing out in the first pricing window of May. Fast forward, second pricing window of May, we see as well playing out in the first pricing window of June, that same increase that we've seen for petrol. But then diesel, the price has been maintained over time. There was actually a reduction within the month of the second pricing window of May as well to a little over 15 cedis 43 pesos. Now, we hit the street to interact with some commercial drivers because there was a previous announcement of an increase in expected increase in transport fares. That was denied and also countered by a statement we got earlier today. And the reason was that a lot of these public transport operators use diesel, and diesel didn't see, at least for a number of the OMCs that we have tracked, didn't see an increase, or there was no change in the price of diesel at the pumps. So then there was some expectation of some engagement as well going forward, but no prices of transport fares increase has been announced as yet. But this is what the drivers had to say. Take a look.
It have a lot of impact because now they have to increase fare. If fare increases too, they will increase spare parts. If spare parts increase, they will increase foodstuffs and many things.
The price of fuel has been increased multiple times. Spare parts are now costly. All these factors go against us. The increase is welcomed.
I think this 20% cannot help us at all, honestly speaking. About 30%, it will be better. 30% maybe we'll manage. Even that one too also is a problem actually, but we'll manage.
It doesn't help us at all. At least, roughly, if they can make it up until 30%, it's going to help us.
But 20% is not enough. At least we are like 30%.
In some way, it's going to benefit someone, and another way, someone is going to suffer because the 20%.
Even the 20% that was not approved and officially announced, the drivers we spoke to are expecting 30% if there has to be an increase at all. And this is one that we'll see how the coming days will look like on this. But before we go, let's go straight to London. That's coming up next. We're live in London, where the Ghana-UK Investment Summit is ongoing for a wrap-up of what happened on day one. Christian Yale is my colleague and our man in London right now. Chris, it's good to have you. You're having a good time in London. This is your second stint in London in this year. Must be a good time, is it not?
Yes, it's been a good time. Also because London is a little warm this time, unlike earlier in March when I came here. So the weather has been very favorable and very kind.
Good stuff. Now let's just wrap about what happened today. I know you did ask the governor of the central bank a question about Cocoa Board financing, and then also the finance minister as well. The president has been speaking, but just give us a wrap of what happened on day one.
Yes, so to start off from Cocoa Board, we know one issue about them has been their debt issuance and also their financing regime, which has been under scrutiny for some time, especially all the issues that we've had about the farmers and the reduction in the cocoa prices. And so today I sought to get an understanding from the Bank of Ghana governor as well as the finance minister on what government plans for Cocoa Board has been or will be going forward, and especially about the bond that they want Cocoa Board to issue. One thing that government has been working on has been a commercial paper for Cocoa Board, and so at the summit, the Ghana-UK Investment Summit, I asked the question, and the understanding I got from the Central Bank Governor, Dr. Johnson Asiama, was that that process of getting Cocoa Board a commercial paper is in process. What that means is that Cocoa Board will not just rely on borrowings from banks, but would have that better financial framework that would, help it to be able to go about its debt issuance. The finance minister, as a matter of fact, also indicated that he is working on a new bill to establish a new act for Ghana Cocoa Board. And once cabinet approves that, it means that beyond the financing regime, Cocoa Board would get that commercial paper as well. But beyond that, the president spoke largely about a number of investment opportunities that Ghana has. And Alfred, it is always important to place it under context that following Ghana's exit from the IMF financial bailout and now the PCI, it becomes important to assure investment over and over again about why it is prudent to invest in the country and what sort of reforms government is putting in place to make the country a conducive environment across sectors. So today, conversations have spanned from the extractive sector, mineral resources, green energy and transition. Also, there have been conversations even from GIPC and what they are doing. In fact, almost all the sectors have presented their ideas and how lucrative their sectors are and more or less trying to woo investment. One landmark thing that happened today was the Ghana-UK Growth Partnership Agreement that the president signed. There was the UK High Commissioner to Ghana, Christian Rock, who was there, as well as the Ghana High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland, Saba Zita Benson, and also other, even we had one of the deputy ministers of UK in presence to witness that agreement. Already there are about 670 UK foreign direct investment projects in Ghana, Alfred. And that, per the statistics that we have seen, last year alone contributed to about 1.8 billion pounds in 2025 alone. So it tells you that these two countries, tracing our history once from the colonial era all the way to what we have shared as of now, it tells you that it is only right that Ghana looks at the diasporans, because UK has one of the vibrant, Ghanaian communities. That is why this summit was even preceded by the diaspora summit, which the president led as well. And so, by far and large, President Mahama has assured the investor community, the finance minister has done the same, the central bank governor has done the same, and we are only looking forward to more investment and bankable opportunities that this summit would bring. Alfred.
And we're going to connect to you tomorrow for day 2 as well. Wish you all the best, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alfred.
Christian Yale is a man in London giving us updates of the Ghana-UK Investment Summit. Tomorrow we'll connect with him for day 2 as well. But on behalf of the rest of the team, we'll say thank you for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join the New Day team tomorrow morning. Sunrise 3 FM 92.7 tomorrow morning as well. I'm Alfred Okanse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by